Hello everyone, just running down a bit of information today on what Star Citizen is all about. If you haven't heard before, Star Citizen is a new space combat sim by Chris Roberts and Cloud Imperium. Chris Roberts was the guy behind old games back in the DOS days such as Wing Commander, and then down the road he did Freelancer and a few other games as well. Star Citizen will have a single player storyline. This will be labelled as Squadron 42. It'll only be single player and you'll be able to play it offline without any DRM. Along with the single player storyline, you'll then be able to jump online to an MMO style ranked mode. And they've also announced we'll have our own private unranked dedicated servers that we can also run ourselves as clans and ISPs and game service providers, whatnot, and we can use free mod tools to play with in the private servers. So we'll probably be able to make our own ships and own maps and whatnot. The ranked online servers will be labelled as this term I haven't heard before, called Persistent Massive Multiplayer Universe, which apparently is abbreviated to MMU. So it's not a traditional MMO, and from the information I've seen, every time you go into a solar system it becomes sort of like an instance, and those instance servers may have 100 to 1,000 people. So we're not going to have a huge shit fight battle, but it's not going to be laggy so that'll be good. The game is a crowd-funded campaign, so it uses stretch goals to achieve new milestones in what the game will feature and deliver. I think it's up to 18 million at the moment, and you can check how much it's up to on the main website. What else have we got here? The game development started out in 2011. It actually uses a modified version of Crytek Engine 3, which if anyone's played Crysis 3 or any games using the Cry Engine 3, it looks bloody cool. Because it's using the Crysis 3, Crytek Engine 3, you'll need an up-to-date computer, so might be time to upgrade. So the specs at the current time are asking for a quad-core CPU, 8GB of RAM, and a 1GB graphics card that is DirectX 11 compliant. So basically a GTX NVIDIA 460 or above. Now, saying that, I'm running the Hangar app on a 5600 Ti and it's running quite well. You can't get those cards anymore. The NVIDIA equivalent would be I suppose a 660 Ti, but there is an AMD card I came across the other day that sells for $130 Australian and $120 American off Amazon. Okay, moving on, it supports English by default. They've got plans to support French, German and Spanish. There's going to be other languages down the road. A lot of people are trying to push for Japanese and Mandarin. The pricing structure is going to be similar to Guild Wars 2. You buy the game when it goes retail, and what'll happen then is you'll get two packages for US $60. Will be the single player component and the multiplayer component. The single player component, which is called Squadron 42, you finish that solo, and then some of the decision making and career paths in the game actually then determine how your outcome is in the online component, and apparently you'll get enough credit from doing all the single player missions to get your first freebie in-game ship for multiplayer. which will either be the Aurora or the Avenger. Okay, if you pledge, because it's crowdfunding, if you pledge US $40 or more, you'll receive a copy of the single player game, the full multiplayer game, the alpha and the beta access, and some in-game credits, and you'll get the ship. Now, the $40 package is called the Digital Mercenary Pack, and it has the Aurora MR. That's the ship I've bought. Any other ships you buy after that one, you don't have to buy as a package, you just buy individually. They range from prices of like 65 up to 1,000. The $1,000 ones aren't available anymore. They were a limited edition. I think the most expensive singular ship you can buy at the moment is the Constellation, which is $275 US, I think, at the top of my head. I will link below the in-depth information they've got for the instance server, and I will show you guys some footage of the ships. Alright, myself, I've got a Aurora, and I plan to get the Cutlass. The Cutlass is a two-seater bomber slash fighter, and it can be used for cargo. You've got different ships for different roles, of course. You've got fighting classes, cargo vessels, exploration classes, frigates, battle cruisers, all that sort of stuff. They've announced a few ships that aren't even out yet. There's a few that you have to go and find in the universe. For example, there's going to be derelict versions of the $1,000 Idris lying around, and some will be NPC controlled. You'll have to get other ships to combat that battle, so we can get it. There's a couple of other ships that aren't available anymore that used to be for sale, such as the 350R, which is the racing deluxe version of the 300 series of ships. Quite a few of the base model ships are still available. Some other ones, such as the M50, you can't get anymore. Alright, moving on. We will have different modules for this game, so they're not just releasing the game, making it in 2 years or 4 years or whatever. What they're actually doing this time is quite good, I think, is releasing a separate module for each component of the game and then tying it all together. So at the 29th of August they released the first module, which was the Hangar app, and so in the Hangar app you can jump in your ship, and you can take off missiles and put on other missiles. You can try different combinations of stuff out. You can customize your ship. You can walk around your hangar. If you've managed to buy the buggy, you can cruise around in your hangar with a buggy. Otherwise, we'll just wait until the full game or the beta comes out, and we'll just grind for a buggy. Then at December this year, 2013, we'll have the dogfighting module. This will let us playtest the combat portion of the game, so we'll actually leave our hangar, woohoo, and we'll shoot each other, pew 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 pew. So that should be pretty fun, and everyone's stoked for that. Then around March, April next year, 2014, we'll have the planet side module, which is like running around in first person but non-combat environment. I think this will be like mainly checking out bars and shops and like environments, maybe a space station and whatnot, and I'll show a little video of this. Now it's expected at August 2014 to have the single player alpha, so we'll get to have a little play with that, and no doubt we'll actually get to shoot some baddies hopefully. And then in December 2014 we'll have the Persistent Universe beta, and that will hopefully let us leave the hangar, go explore solar systems, shoot some other people in real time and whatnot. And then they're saying the final commercial release of both Squadron 42 single player and Star Citizen Online will be the first quarter of 2015. So that should be pretty cool.
Is a call to action.
At the moment there's not much else I can really tell you. I will just show a bit of footage and some pictures of the game, and thanks for watching. Okay, see you in the verse.